Okay, so I've got the perspective you can see there set up with glass that you can actually see fairly well in this realistic view. But I'm going to change it back to shaded just so it runs a little bit faster. And then I'm really just going to focus on that glass material. So I'm going to zoom in though so you can see I've actually got two different glass materials. I've got the glass in the upper panel there, which is set to have a different colour, and the glass is the lower panel. So it's a good chance just to quickly look at how you can select panels in a curtain wall. And so make sure you know how to do that. With the tab key, you can cycle through all the different selection options, and I'll zoom in a bit further just so you can see there that I've made sure that my cursor is on the edge of the glass and it isn't selecting it. But as long as I'm on the edge there, and I know that's the edge of the glass, if I press tab, eventually it will highlight the glass panel, and I can click to select it, and then it won't always be in edit type. Sometimes you'll see it in properties here. Depends on the way the family's been made. But in this case, it is in edit type. So if I click there, edit type, you can see then the material is called glass. And I'm going to click browse there, and I can edit that material. So it's again called glass on the left there. And now I'm going to go to the appearance tab so that you can see the type of render material, essentially, which is what you'll always have on the appearance tab. So notice how here it says glazing. So that's the material type. And if you have other glass, you can see here if I select this one called glass amber, notice how it's a different type. It's solid glass. This one called glass light bulb, it's not glass at all. It's a generic material. So if you want glass, usually that glazing material is good. The solid glass material is a bit more forlorn, basically. So it's really just for solid pieces of glass, so maybe vases or art glass or anything like that, where you need a solid, usually coloured chunk of glass, and the light has to go through and refract and do all those caustic and other complex reflections. If you really need that, use solid glass. Otherwise, just use glazing. For thin glass, like in a window, that's all you'll ever need. And so we don't have many options then. You've just got the colour, and so you've got these standard glass colours. And even then, though, there are some good options, because if you're seeing too much of your interior, sometimes having a colour like blue, even if it's just a light blue, can help. But I'm going to leave it with clear, and instead of changing the colour, I'm going to increase the reflection. So increasing the reflectance there, you'll actually see it in the preview up here. I'm just going to make that a bit bigger, and then I'll make sure that the quality of it's on production. So it's still updating, but I should be able to see the reflections in the preview here once it's finished updating. It's taking a little while, so I'm going to increase that a bit further straight away, so I don't have to wait a second time. And so now you can see it's still updating, but you can probably see it's a bit harder to see what's behind it already. So then you've got the sheets. Normally you can just leave that on 2, and actually if you increase that too high, then you've got to set the render quality settings really high to make it use all of those sheets of glass. So if you think about the way renders are calculated, it actually processes the rays of light, and so every time it hits a sheet of glass, it's got to calculate again. So it adds a lot to the render time, and it really doesn't give you much better quality. So I generally wouldn't touch that, sheets of glass, leave it on 2 and it's fine. But yeah, reflectance, it's just a slider, you can adjust. So that's it. Tint is a bit different to the colour. So it's like you're applying an extra colour over the top. Can be good, but it'll probably in most cases make it a bit too dark, so I'm going to leave that off. And that's it. So if I click OK, and OK. So that's the glass for not just this sheet, but all of those panels. because they all use the same glass material. And I can check that if I just select one of the panels over here in this different curtain wall. And again, edit type, and you can see it also uses that glass material. So I've changed almost all of the glass, but remember this glass here was a different color. So if I use tab and select it, edit type, and you can see it's called MR color back glass dark. I didn't make that material. That's Malcolm. You probably didn't know Malcolm, but he was one of the teachers here. And so if we click there, you can see it's called color black glass, but if I go to the appearance tab, it's also using this glazing material type. And it's set to a color, but otherwise it's pretty much the same, and I can increase the reflectance, but there's not much difference there. So I've really just got two different glass materials on that facade. And then as usual, to see how that's going to render, or to see what it looks like in a render, you can obviously render. So I've just brought up with the teapot on the view control bar down the bottom, brought up the rendering dialog box. And so a good way of testing that is to turn on region, and then you can adjust the window that comes up and just render a small area. So I'll just bring that right in, just to a part where I'll get a decent area of glass, but not worrying about the other things too much. So that might be alright. Maybe I'll get some that's under the balcony too. Okay, so you can see there 218 by 198 pixels is really small, so that'll render quickly. So I can put the quality up fairly high. I might put it onto high. And then render. With ART, high doesn't take as long as Midrise did. So, and these computers are pretty good, they're workstations, so it should, I think, go pretty quickly. We'll see in a second. But that's the way you want to test your renders. And it's an old trick to make buildings that have a lot of glass on the facade really reflective. So that way you don't have to model as much of the interior. And I've seen some beautiful renders actually of office blocks in the city where they haven't modeled anything. They've just done the shell of the outside and haven't modeled any of the interior, and just made it so reflective that you'd never know. And of course now it's telling me it's frozen. It hasn't, I don't think, it's just thinking. But you can see down there it's trying to just regenerate the model or go through the basic processing. It hasn't started rendering yet. But again, these supercomputers should cope with this, you'd think. The one that the computer I'm the happiest about is basically the next model up from this one, and it's the best computer I've ever owned. Spend probably more time with it than my wife at the moment, because it's behaving so well. So so these computers should be great. There we are. Okay, so you can see already that just adding that reflection makes it brighter, less of the interiors coming up, and so less distracting in a way. And what did it take? A minute or two to render and see what it looks like. So that's a simple thing you can try. And so then, well, I'll maybe do a second video on Photoshop, so I'll just finish that one for now.